I became a social media entrepreneur because I was spending a ridiculous amount of time on social media.
I couldn't think of anything else to do but what I do, which is being a director.
Businesses today need to be more creative in how they bring out their message. It's all about how the target audience experience when and how they receive that message. And this is where social media is very beneficial because it allows the message to be very localized and unique. I became a social media entrepreneur because I was spending a ridiculous amount of time on social media. And I knew these tools very well, Facebook, Friendster, YouTube, and blogging. I have a blog called Random Alphabets, and I had this great love of bringing people together. So I thought the best way to do this was to use the blog and social media and bring people together. I started organizing events like KL Freeze, Merdeka Train Party, and Glee Flash Mob Dance. And then we started getting noticed by the corporate clients, and they started calling us and wanted us to do the same events for them. Suddenly, I realized I could get paid for doing the same events I would do for free anyway. Why not? Social media is relevant in business today because unlike previously in conventional advertising, it was a one-way street. You come up with a message and you put out your message, and that's that. But today, social media is a two-way street. When clients put out their messages, immediately they know that message is received and they know how that message is perceived by the target audience. The type of clients that I manage are, what some people call fast marketing consumer goods. You're talking telcos, banks, food products. You're talking even insurance company. You're looking at celebrities, even politicians, government agencies, all sorts of clients. So it clearly shows that social media is being used by all sorts of people and all sorts of entities. What I do to improve my skill sets is that I look into activities in social media and I try to identify what is going to be an ongoing activity and what is just a trend. It's important to understand what's going to come and go and what's going to stay there for you to work with. What I like about this job is that because social media is such a new sphere, it's such a new thing, which means there's this amazing blank canvas that you can work on. There's a lot of things happening, yes, but unlike conventional media where it's such a mature medium, social media is fresh. So you can really play with what you want to do there. You just paint your work and your ideas. Keep in mind that it's not about being on Twitter and Facebook all day, every day. The fundamentals of work remain. Understand that you have a responsibility, you must be committed, you must be on time. And balance that with meeting the client's needs. It's important to remember that.
I couldn't think of anything else to do but what I do, which is being a director. And even after 20 years of doing it, even though there are moments where you're jaded, you live for those moments when you can be creative. And that's why I'll always do this for the rest of my life. Creative people have this urge that they need to satisfy. You're born with it, like an artist is born with that urge. And I think the idea is to find a way to reach and to let it express itself. So I was drawn to the film industry, and once I got into the film industry, I found that I had an aptitude towards the directing aspects, which is the creative aspects of it. The first time that I directed, it was like a roller coaster ride. It was like it just passed, the day passed, but it had all the emotion that you can imagine, from fear to not knowing what you're doing to suddenly getting it all together, because ultimately you are the captain of the ship and you have to find some way of leading this entire team to see a vision. I think the film industry is doing really well at this point. It's booming. We're making almost 60 to 70 movies a year as opposed to 5 years ago when there were only 20, 25 movies. Collections have really risen. There are more and more people who believe in the industry, more and more people watching the films, as well as various different languages, local languages. Films have done really, really well in the past 2 years. So it's a great time to get into the film industry. The filmmaking process always starts with an idea, which is then translated into a script, and then a producer gets attached to it, who brings in all the pieces, all the different various people together, and finally it's the director who carries the vision forward. The director is, so to speak, the captain of the ship. He has to know all the aspects of what's going on the set. Besides working on the visual treatment of the script, he has to know, he has to deal with his DOP, the stylization, the art department, and various other people, including obviously his actors. And so the whole filmmaking process has to be very flexible. As I was saying, you have to be flexible on a set. I think going to film school is a very good idea because you would learn all aspects of filmmaking, the creative side, the business side, the production side, the money side of things. At the same time, you would meet a lot of like-minded people who would be there on the long journey that you take in the film industry. And when you hit the set, you would know what's going on. My advice to fresh graduates from film school is that you have to have a lot of patience because the chances are that you won't become a director straight off. You have to learn all the processes. You have to join different departments in the film industry, from production to art to various other things. But the best way would be to assist the director and learn his processes. The best thing about making a film is seeing it all come together at the end of it and the appreciation of people who watch it. You're not the most liked person on a set because you have to make a lot of tough decisions that doesn't please everyone. I remember this time when we were in Jordan, we were shooting the movie Norkase. We were shooting in the desert, spectacular deserts, but suddenly there were these huge sandstorms and we couldn't even put the camera down. But I had to make a decision and I carried on shooting through it. And when we went back to the studios and we saw the results, they were stunning. And that's the magic of filmmaking. If you want to be a director, have a singular vision, stick to what you're doing, never give up. It's a tough job, but it's all worth it.